So I absolutely love this time of year because now we're getting leaks with WWDC right around the corner from hardware and software, where things like iPadOS and iOS 19 and new iPhone 17 lineup, as well as new Vision Pro and Vision Air. So in this video, we're going to talk about all that stuff, what to expect moving forward, because things might be happening for the better for all those things above. Let's get into it. Let's first get into the iPhone 17 Pro and 17 Pro Max because we have some new leaks and rumors. So what we know so far, at least from the 17 Pro lineup and Pro Max, is that we are getting that kind of visor look, and that has been known. But what we've seen from a render standpoint was more of a two-tone design where maybe the phone would be some sort of black color and then the actual two-tone would be maybe like a piano black, so a little bit more shiny, a little bit more reflective and more fingerprinty. But now a new leak suggests that this is going to be a complete unibody design, which I think looks a lot better. So we will still have that kind of visor across the entire rear of the iPhone, but instead of being two different material choices or maybe even an elevation where it comes to how we have it right now from a camera bump situation, it looks like it's going to be all one fluid design where it's going to kind of hill into the actual camera bump and it's all going to be one thing. So we'll still have a camera bump per se, but it'll kind of look like you have a case on it a little bit, where the cameras aren't protruding out. You'll just kind of have this big visor that's kind of a bump on the rear of the iPhone, which I think will be better, especially if you're somebody who likes to have your phone on a desk, so the wobble will go away because it's not going to be asymmetrical anymore. It'll be fully symmetrical, making it easier to maybe type when you do have your phone on a desk. So again, this is still going to be a unibody glass design, so we're not going to go with titanium or anything like that for the rear because we still have to leave room for MagSafe, as well as wireless charging and Qi 2 MagSafe and things of that nature, so it will be glass. But it will be that frosted glass that we've grown to love over the last few years, which still feels like aluminum or titanium. It still feels like metal, but it is glass at the end of the day, so it can crack. But keep that in mind, it's going to be one full unibody design as opposed to different pieces of the iPhone. This will result in the iPhone actually being thinner at its thinnest point. Of course, the camera bump might be thicker than the current camera bump, but at the thinnest point of the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max, it should be thinner than what we have right now with the 16 Pro and Pro Max, and everything will be smoother, it'll be easier to wield, easier to hold, so think more sculpture as opposed to kind of Frankensteining things together, which is what we have now with the current iPhone lineup. But we also got a leak of the new camera cases, or the new cases for the iPhone, and this thing is going to be a chonker. It is going to be very big. From the case leaks that we see right here, it's basically the entire top third of the iPhone will be a camera bump, which for better or for worse, you know, people will either grow to like it or hate it or love it right away. It's going to be fully subjective as to whether you like it or not, so leave a comment down below if you think this is going to be a nice looking design or if it's going to be kind of a step backwards from a design standpoint. But it will be to maybe put a new periscope camera that's going to be a 6x or even a 10x telephoto lens, which will be very useful for people that like to take iPhone photography pictures. And now before we continue with this video, definitely consider subscribing to the channel because it helps motivate us to make more videos like this. And if you like this, then you'll like what we have moving forward. So definitely subscribe below if you guys want to support us. So now let's move on to iPadOS 19, which is what I'm most excited for because we did get some rumors that Apple's going to be really focusing on the new multitasking, on productivity, on better gesture controls with the iPad, and apparently it's not going to be an afterthought with iPadOS 19, which, fingers crossed, I really hope is going to be true. Because as an iPad user, I've been let down year after year after year when it comes to the iPad kind of being a computer replacement. I still use my iPad as a computer replacement. It is my full-on computer. I have it right in front of me, as you can see right here. And I love my iPad and everything about it, but I would be lying to you if I said it was a completely better experience than macOS. I've kind of forced myself to get into iPadOS and use it as my main computer, and I've gotten very good at it over the years. But for most people, as the way that it stands right now with iPadOS 18, I wouldn't tell people that iPadOS is more fluid or better than macOS because macOS is more familiar for most people, and that desktop experience is just much easier to wield for everybody that uses it. I will leave a video link down below of everything that I talked about with iPadOS 19 if you guys want to get a little bit more in depth, but it's going to be all about productivity, better multitasking, better window management, probably a little bit more window management as well with Stage Manager. It's not going to be a one-to-one to macOS, but we should be creeping closer to a macOS-like experience on iPadOS 19. So now let's talk about Vision Pro, Tim Cook, and this new Vision Air, which is supposedly coming sooner than we think. So there was a big op-ed on Tim Cook and what he thinks about the Vision Pro and how he's going to be fully focused on bringing the Vision Pro or something like the Vision Pro out to the masses. That is going to be his biggest kind of project moving forward and probably how he's going to end up leaving Apple with whatever happens, whether it's good or bad when it comes to Vision OS specifically. So according to this op-ed, he sees a world where everybody's wearing kind of these glasses that look mostly like glasses, but give you the Vision Pro experience. And I don't know how close we are to that, kind of that Meta glasses look. that Meta showed some people about 6-7 months ago, but I really hope that we are, because I did use the Vision Pro. I had it for about a month before selling it, and from a usability standpoint and just kind of seeing what it could be in the future of it all, I thought it was an amazing piece of tech. It was pure magic. It felt like I was using an Iron Man suit, being able to move things around in an open space, in a 3D area, and it kind of stayed where it was supposed to, and everything was just so cutting edge. And I saw the for fun use cases and the demoing use cases to be amazing, but that's kind of where it stopped. From a productivity standpoint, it didn't really do too much more or anything at all. It kind of added a little bit more friction, if anything, but when it came to entertainment, to content consumption, and just to showing off the capabilities of this thing, that was my favorite thing to do with the Vision Pro. But for $3,500, this isn't something that most people are going to want, especially if you're just using it to kind of show off to people. So bringing the price point down, bringing the heft of it down, bringing the form factor down with the Vision Air that gives you maybe 90 to 95% of the Vision Pro experience is something that a lot of people would want. Bring it down to $1,500, make a few less promises from a productivity standpoint, and you might have something that will really sell like hotcakes, as opposed to something that's going to be an early adopter or basically a expensive beta test for most people, which is what the Vision Pro is at $3,500. And what we know about the Vision Air so far is that it's going to be made out of titanium to really reduce the weight of this thing, because the Vision Pro was relatively heavy, especially when compared to its other competitors like the Meta Quest and things of that nature. And secondly, we should be getting a black color, which I think is going to be very stealth looking, very cool, and I think a lot of people will be gravitating towards that kind of black stealth color, which would be cool to see. So those are the big three things that I really wanted to bring up, and these other two things are something that I just want to give you guys PSAs about. So firstly, Apple's starting this new recycling program. They've had the recycling program for years, where basically if they think that your phone or whatever you're trading in isn't worth any value to them, quote unquote, they'll still take your hardware and then recycle it properly, whatever that means exactly. But they're giving some promos where they're giving up to 10% off on Apple accessories, including Magic Keyboards, AirTags, and more. So those devices that maybe used to get nothing from a recycling standpoint now gives you essentially a coupon for Apple accessories directly from the Apple Store. So if you have been eyeing something and you have some old Apple products that need recycling, I guess that's something that you could take advantage of. Again, this is not going to be trade-in credit. This is going to be trade-in for discounts of new products from Apple. So keep that in mind. And then lastly, for all you CarPlay lovers, there was apparently a lot of bugs happening with 18.4 in CarPlay, with Spotify not working, things kind of freezing up, needing to restart your phone, needing to restart your car in order for things to kind of reset itself. But that was fixed with a patch with 18.4.1. So if you haven't updated, definitely update your iOS device to 18.4.1, because it's going to reduce all those ongoing issues with the music app crashing, the freezing of the displays, and some cars just not even recognizing the iPhone at all. So definitely get onto 18.4.1, especially if you're a CarPlay user and we're dealing with those issues. And leave a comment down below if you were dealing with those issues to begin with, because fortunately, I don't have CarPlay anymore to really test that out. But that's going to be this Friday 5. A bunch of awesome stuff is happening, and everything's kind of percolating and getting ready for WWDC, which is coming around in about 6 weeks now. So April's coming and going, then we'll have May with a bunch of other stuff happening. And lastly, WWDC should give us the iOSs, the iPadOSs, the macOSs of the future to see exactly what this huge visual overhaul is going to be. Because we've seen a lot of leaks and rumors of Vision OS being kind of like the mainstay of what's going to translate across all the different OSs, like iOS as well as iPadOS, and it remains to be seen what that's going to look like, and if that's going to bring any functional differences. But I'm ready for a UI difference. I'm ready for iOS to look a little bit different. It's been over a decade since we've seen a big change in iOS from a form factor, from a design standpoint. So I am excited for that. But like I said, that'll do it for this video. If you did make it to the end, leave a little basketball in the comments down below if you guys are fans of the NBA playoffs, to see if that you made it to the end. And leave some comments down below about what you think about the future of iOS. Are you excited about iPadOS, macOS? Are you excited about some future hardware that's coming out? Let me know in the comment down below. But that'll do it, everybody. If you want to watch more videos like this, definitely check out one of these videos right here. And until next time, I'm Fernando. Peace, everybody.